Page 21, The Way We Were, from the picture or the movie The Way We Were. Key of A major, 3 sharps, just to keep things interesting. In the right hand, you got a lot of eighth notes here. 1 and 2 and 3, and hopefully that's not a problem. For the 16th notes, when they stick them in, I think eighth notes, and I just play 2 notes in that time. So at the beginning, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If you don't want to put a thumb on that C sharp, you can do it with the thumb on the E. Here, and then come over. I'll leave that up to you, because you're going to get this in a few spots, and a few spots it's better if you do it this way. So now, but the next one, here they want the thumb on the C sharp, because you're in this position. And I don't want to discourage you from putting a thumb on a black key. That's fine. Sometimes you have to. So this is a fine fingering. So if you don't, then use second finger and stretch. Because on the G sharp next measure, it needs to be 4th finger. So for the A coming up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's what I'm saying. 2 16th notes. 1 and 2 and 3. So just put 2 notes in there. 1 E and a 2 E and a N. Going on, 3rd line again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The end of that line, the fingering for those last 2 eighth notes is 1, 2, and that's important. Because you have this coming up, and the A and the C sharp on the last line there are tied. So you're going to hold those down while you play the E there. So that finger is important. Then going on. Now here they put a thumb there and cross over for 2, 4. It's a little awkward, and it happens elsewhere, but it's kind of, go ahead and do it, it's fine. Then on page 22 is more of what you've already had. Just jump down to the 2nd line then. 3rd measure here. The top, the melody's the top note. That one. This other stuff is just harmony. So, going on. That chord in the 3rd line, 2nd measure, A sharp, C sharp, G sharp. I don't want to point everything out. I think you can read it. 4th line down, 2nd measure, hold the G sharp down. Next measure, hold the F sharp down. And then hold the E down while you play the G sharp. Isn't this fun? And then it goes back to the melody again. But in the last line, 1st measure, watch out. Here and then here. The C sharp, E are tied. Hold on to them while you play the A in the next measure for 1 measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There. Page 23, 3rd line down. Last measure. It's a little awkward on those eighth notes because you're here. And then they want 1, 2, 5. And then 1, 2, 5. The pedal will help you out, but do the best you can, but that's kind of what we're stuck with. And then the 4th line down, 2nd measure, that 16th note, just make it a short note right before beat 3. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Just a short note. That's what is 16th note in this piece is a short note. If you want to count it out, it would be a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Like so. So it's a short note. Last line. You're here to start. Then you're coming up. If you don't want to, you can play 2nd finger on the A if you want. Because your 4th finger's going to be on the C sharp anyway. And if you don't want to put a thumb on that, then put the thumb on the A and you can come over here. And then you get a bass clef, so you come down here, fourth finger on the C sharp, to end it. The left hand has pretty much just got these broken chords, these eighth notes, just legato. Then bass clef comes in on the last measure, the first line. Remember the E sharp? You got an E sharp in the right hand too. That's really all what the left hand is doing. You get down to the bottom of the page on page 21 and you have here. I like that fingering, that 3-2. So I'd still do a 3-2 and then 4. On page 22, second line, again, 3-2. Here, and a here, and then drop down. And then here, again, 3-2 for the third measure. 3-2. I can do 3-2 on all of those. I mean, their fingering works too. I just prefer not to have to go 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 like that. Fourth line down here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last line, that first note is an A. And then the third finger on it, because now you're going to do C. The last measure of the page, their fingering is okay. You're crossing over, but you're staying there. So I have to be able to do that anyway, so go ahead and do it. That takes us down to the bottom of page 23. Well, let's start with the fourth line down, the last two measures, where you have these running notes. 2, 3, and again. Now they introduce you a treble clef. So at the last line, we're in treble clef. Again. And then an A, E. I do a 5-2 there. You can do a 5-1 if you want it. And then the last measure, it's written here, but it has an AVA under it, so you got to go down an octave. If your keyboard's not that big, then you go down however far you can. Dynamic-wise, for the most part, this is a gentle piece. It starts out on page 21, sort of medium soft MP. That's the melody. So everything else has to be softer than that, because we want to hear the melody. And the second line, the first measure, you're going to crescendo. That's where we want. That's what you're after. Doesn't tell you how much of a crescendo. It's not much. It's probably like a medium loud. Don't get carried away. Just know it's a crescendo. Third line down, then you're coming back down. Then at the end of the line, you're soft. Then you're going to pick it up. Those three notes, you go from soft to medium soft. There. So then, you're medium soft at the bottom of the page. The top of page 22, again, you got that little crescendo in the here. You're getting up to here. Then at the end of the first line on page 22, you're coming back down. So it's here. Then in the second measure, you're going to crescendo up to a medium loud for this part. And then, see, the idea on the crescendo in the second measure there on the second line is the left hand's going to do it. This is softly, because the left hand's playing really soft. Then that last note, you come out a little bit. little louder, because that prepares us for this. This is not melody, it's just preparing for it to come again, so it's a little louder. So this part's kind of serious. It's just, now make sure you get off of that half note in the second measure soon enough, because the left hand needs that A sharp, the key. Now, the last measure you're going to crescendo some more, because if you look at the next line, second measure, you're going up to forte. So I suggest you start this a little under. Come down to about a medium soft on that last measure, the third line, so you got more room to crescendo, so it's here. That's where you're after. And then all of a sudden it's medium soft. Now you're medium loud. It's like they don't know what they want, do they? And you follow their loudness. They're getting louder and softer. I don't feel I really need to point every one of them out. But at the end, at the bottom of page 23, you're sort of medium soft to start the line here. Now softer, and you're going to slow down. You're soft and stay soft. Those, you have a molto ritardando there at the end. That means you're going to slow down a lot. So in the next to the last measure on those eighth notes in the right hand, those are actually going to sound more like quarter notes because you've slowed down that much. Work out all out, get the fingerings, get so you can hear the melody and the dynamics and that part, then we add the pedal. But for the most part, you pedal it just like it is. I'd like to make a couple suggestions, I always do. So on page 21 at the beginning, we're going to pedal basically every 2 beats. Not always, got to be careful, they're going to switch it up. But to start with, every 2 beats. So I'm going to push the pedal down after I play the notes, and then I'm just going to, it's going to be overlapping pedal throughout. Third line down, last measure, here. I would like to hear some silence in the right hand because we're ending this whole thought we just did. Now we're starting it again. So I'd like some silence there. So the last measure, I'm going to lift the pedal up when I play the C sharp in the left hand. And then I'm going to put the pedal down either on the A or the C, I don't care which one, but it's got to be down before you go to the next measure. And the reason for that is because the C sharp is needed again in the next notes in the chord. You're going to play it again. And I want to connect them. I want them connected. So the pedal's got to be down, and then when I play the notes at the bottom, the first measure, the last line, I'm going to change the pedal. So the pedal goes down and right back up and right back down. Isn't that cool? It's just a, so it's here. So starting with the last, start with the second measure, the third line, it's here. Line, second measure, I'm going to change the pedal on the beats 3 and 4. I don't want all of these eighth notes caught in one pedal. So I'm beating, I'm pedals down for the first 2 beats, and then I'm changing it on each of the last 2 beats, so it's here. Page 22, you can pedal it like they're doing. It's fine till you get to the second line. Here. I'm going to lift the pedal up when the right hand comes up on beat 3. And then I'm going to put it right back down again, so I connect the C sharp and the A. So it's just up for a little bit. And then we go on. Now, in the third measure, they're pedaling the whole measure. Ugh. I'm gonna change the pedal on in the middle. I'm gonna change the pedal on beat 3. And again, the last measure, I'm not pedaling the last 2 beats. And then go on. Again, I'm changing the pedal every 2 beats here. And again, third line, second measure, I'm not pedaling the last 2 beats. Now they're telling you to change the pedal every 2 beats. Well, it's about time. Then you go. I like a little silence there at the end of the 4th line before go on, but if you prefer connected, you go right ahead and connect it. Because it starts the melody again. And again, the last line, second measure, I'm pedaling the 3rd and 4th beats separately. I don't want to smear all those 8th notes. And at the last measure of the line, I'm not pedaling the last 2 beats. I just kind of cleaning out some of the sound before I go on. Here I'm kind of leaving the pedal down because we got loud and it's exciting and oh boy. Now. So be careful in the second measure, watch the pedaling. You have choices here at the bottom of page 23. You can pedal it like they're doing and you'll get this. Starting with the 3rd measure over on the 4th line, it's here. I prefer to clean that up a little bit. It's a little too mushy. If you like mushy, go for it. But I'm going to change it starting again with that 3rd measure. Now pedaling the 8th notes in the right hand. And again, I'm not pedaling the last 2 beats of the last measure. Same thing here. I'm not pedaling the 8th notes in the right hand in the last line. And then I'm changing the pedal on beat 3 of the 2nd measure. And then here, now you can leave the pedal down for the rest of it. And at the end, because it ends softly, you can hang on to that a little longer if you want, and I suggest you lift the hands up, or leave the keys up, leave the hands on there, and then gradually lift the pedal and let the sound die away. It's cool. And that's this piece for you. Good luck in learning. It's a beautiful piece.